What it do, everyone? What is going on? Another episode number 7 of Time Out with McCallie is back. Took a little bit of hiatus, but I'm back now. Sucking up with your daily YouTube channel of Time Out with McCallie. We have some things to talk about today. The NBA season is in its prime position. College basketball March Madness is starting real soon. It's actually starting next week. Selection Sunday is this upcoming Sunday. Obviously, in the heat of the NFL free agency has started. Teams have been able to talk about deals. We'll be talking about that today as well. The MLB is also about to start real soon. I can't wait for that to start as well. Let's get into it. Another episode of Time with Cali is here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are here on a Monday night, 8 o'clock here on the East Coast. And the NBA has been happening. This season has just been, I think, it's been a really good season so far. A lot of very good teams this year. Very competitive. Very very competitive. I think this year, even with the Western Conference. And I just want to go off one team real quickly, the Boston Celtics. A lot of people think that the Boston Celtics is easily the best team in the NBA, and I would agree. I do think that the Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA. They are the number one offensive rating team in the league, and I think they're top three. If I'm not mistaken, they're right behind the Timberwolves. But I am a little bit concerned with how they played last week. They played two top heavy teams. The Cavs were down Donovan Mitchell, their best player, and they were up 22 with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they blew that game. Very alarming. Jason Tatum has not played well in this past week, where they've been on the road trip. So that's pretty alarming. He didn't play well against the Nuggets either. It's weird. I don't know the Nugget, and then when they play the Nuggets have low key swept them. The Nuggets have swept them this year. They beat them both times. One in Boston, one in Denver, where Nikola Jokic just looked absolutely dominant, absolutely dominant. So Nikola Jokic just looked absolutely dominant, putting up another triple double. That guy is elite, man. I think I was kind of skeptical of putting him at number one in the NBA, but he might be number one in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, they barely, they squeaked it out against the Suns. Yeah, that does level a question of concern. Does Boston do what they always do? Have a very good off regular season and just completely collapse in the postseason and the conference championship game? Me personally, I don't know. I don't think so. Um, it all depends how Jason Tatum plays. Because if he plays like just laying eggs if he lays eggs, then they're not going to go far. He did not play well when they were in the finals. And in the Eastern Conference Finals, he wasn't last year. He wasn't all that amazing either. So it kind of matters how he takes them. If he plays really well, the Boston Celtics have a very easy path to the NBA Finals. If he doesn't play well, then I think other teams can catch them. I don't think Milwaukee will can beat them. If I don't think Milwaukee can beat them. I do, however, think that the Knicks can. If the Knicks are fully healthy, we haven't seen this team fully healthy. I know it was kind of strange. They had Jalen Brunson play. The Sixers did not play Tyrese Maxey on Sunday night. They lost the game scoring only 73 points. And the Sixers only scored 79 points. I'm like, are we in a college basketball game? Like, what is this? It was bizarre. But the Knicks haven't been fully healthy since the All Star break. They haven't been fully healthy coming into the All Star break either. So I mean, man, we got to see. We just got to see. OG's making his comeback. I know Julius trying to been getting healthy, and I think they said Robinson might be coming back. So we haven't really seen this team at their full potential. With their full potential, they could. I think if they could catch the Celtics, I really do. I think they're the only team that has the possibility to catch them because they have the depth to do it. And they also have the superstars too. I think Jalen Brunson's been playing like an all-star caliber player this year. So yeah, I do. I want to talk about another team that I do think. I want to talk about another team that is kind of interesting to me. The Los Angeles Clippers have been playing interesting basketball. Now they have 4 Hall of Famers on that team. Um, it's just a matter of how far they can go. I don't think that they're gonna go very. I don't think they're a finals contending team because I just think that the Nuggets are simply better than them because they don't have the center or the big man to stop Jokic. Um, I don't really trust Paul George or James Harden in the playoffs. Russ has broke his hand, so it could be interesting. And I know they're going to enter a new chapter of their franchise next year, going into the Intuit Dome, which looks amazing. By the way, I've seen it in person. When we drove past and I was in LA, it looks really really cool. And I like how what Steve Ballmer has done to the approach of bringing of marketing his new stadium. So it's gonna be weird. But another team I really wanted to talk about was the Lakers. I I don't know why, but the Lakers are such a weird team. This team, if you were to look back at this team in the offseason, like they last year they went to the conference finals as the 7th seed. They went on a run. They got matchups when they got into the playoffs, right? The matchups that they got to the Western Conference Finals were very favorable to them. They were more physical than Memphis was. They were better than Memphis. And when they played the Warriors, they were just bigger than them. They had more size, they had more height advantage. They dominated them. And then when they went against the Nuggets, I mean every game was competitive. It was a competitive sweep. I don't want to be like, yeah, they got swept, but it was very competitive from game 1 to game 4. Every game was close, right? So what I want to do with this is like I'm watching them play yesterday against the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves have honestly they're kind of in a down spiral because they just lost Cat. They lost Cat because he just got he tore his meniscus, so they haven't been healthy enough. So I can't really make a judge on them, but you know, um, Anthony Davis had 27, 25, 5 assists, 7 steals, and 3 blocks. That is ridiculous. And LeBron had 28, 9, and 8. Reeves had a solid, I think he had 24, 26. They have the role players. They have the role players in Reeves. They have the role players like D'Lo had 44 against the Bucks. They have the role players to do it. Hachimura and Reeves and D'Lo and Vando, who but he's been hurt, but Vando and I don't know about Spencer Dinwiddie. I wouldn't really call him a natural consensus piece. I remember this guy talking about last year he could be a third option on a championship contending team. That's just that's just an idiot right there. He's not. He would be probably like a sixth or seventh option because he's not honestly not that good. They have the pieces. They have the superstars. It's like, how is this team the ninth seed? How are they 36-30? Like, they will beat a championship contending team, and then the next day they'll play the Pistons or the Trailblazers or the Wizards and lose. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how does that happen? They'll play the Hornets and they'll be in a dogfight. I'm like, how does that happen? How? How does that happen? I'm lost. Like I promise you, the Lakers, the next game, whoever they're playing, it's going to be a dogfight, and they probably will lose. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. They're not consistent enough. Now they are one game back from the 6th seed, so it could get interesting here. It could get real interesting. Though I do think if they get into the dance, I think their best option is playing the Thunder. I think if they play the Thunder, they could beat the Thunder because the Thunder are not sized enough to match up against Anthony Davis. Chet against Anthony Davis would be a matchup nightmare for the Thunder. Would be a nightmare. And two, the Thunder are inexperienced. The only player that's ever been to the playoffs on that squad was Lou Dort in the bubble and Shea. Those are the only two guys who've been experienced. The other, everyone else has never been to the playoffs. I'm like probably like 80% sure that's true. So they're inexperienced. I mean, playing experience, I guess, but they're inexperienced. They're going against a very experienced team who was in the Western Conference Finals last year if they played the Lakers. They have a guy who's basically seen the entire NBA unfold, who's been in three different generations of basketball, LeBron James. They have Anthony Davis, who has a championship. They have all these other guys who have the experience, have been to the playoffs before, right? And they were on that playoff run last year. So I just think that I really do think that if the Thunder were to play the Lakers, I think the Lakers would beat them. I think they would beat them in a 7-game series. I really, really do. The Lakers are just they're a weird team. They could be so much better than their record. They're inconsistent, very inconsistent. Another team I want to talk about is my 76ers. I kind of want to give a rant about them. Daryl Morey has some work to do. You have some work to do in the offseason. Because I'm telling you right now, if this guy doesn't get it done in the offseason, he's gone. He's gone. Gone. He is gone. You just can't keep getting away with signing a bunch of old role players who don't have it anymore and just placing on the team and think it's gonna work. Like, yeah, you traded James Harden because he didn't want to be here. Fine. I'm not really going to give you like slack for that. But bro, the team you constructed around Joel was awful. Like, look at the team how they're playing without him. Like, yeah, Tyrese is emerging to an all-star. He's gonna get a bag this offseason. I'm thankful about that. I feel fantastic about that. But Tobias Harris isn't cutting anymore. He's not. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's 30 in 31 minutes. One game, he only scored 8 points. That's trash. This guy's supposed to be the third option on this team. You are nothing but a 6-man right now. Not even. You can't be getting paid this amount of money and you're scoring under 10 points in a basketball game. You just can't. You can't do it. Daryl has some work to do. He's got to go out and get a wing player, or he has to get a wing player. Or what he could do is he could go out and get another guard. Because I think Tyrese is always going to be a tier 2 level caliber of player. He's never going to be a superstar. Because I think Joel's always going to be that superstar. He's always going to be that one. Maybe he can emerge as a superstar. Hey, I don't know. He was an all-star, right? I think Tyrese is always going to be that type of guy. But I think what you can do is you can move Tyrese to the 2 because I think the 2 is his natural position. I think shooting guard is his natural position. You can get somebody at the 1 and have the 1, Tyrese in the backcourt, and Joel's your guy. And then at the wing, you can do whatever you want there. Now, it would be nice to have an elite wing. It would be nice to have a guy like Paul George on the team, but I think Paul George is going to stay a Clipper. Daryl Morey has some work to do because I'm sick and tired of losing in the first round of the playoffs, first and second round of the playoffs every year. I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. Last year could have been our shot. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these guys underperforming in the playoffs every year. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these guys having a great regular season. They hype us up talking about, oh, well, this team might be a championship team, finals team, and then a completely underperform in the playoffs. I'm not trying to shy away from what Joel did in the playoffs because he was bad. Yeah, his knee, but he was bad. He always gets hurt in the playoffs. I don't think he's ever had a healthy playoffs in his career. Never. Maybe his first one. No, I'm lying. He broke his face in the first one. The second one, he had knee problems. The third one, he had knee problems. Oh no, I think he played. That was Ben. I'm sorry. The third one, he got swept. The fourth one, knee problems. The fifth one, dude, you broke your thumb. You broke your face. The next one, knee problems again. It's like I don't know what he's doing anymore. He's always hurt in the playoffs. He always gets hurt in the playoffs. It's ridiculous. The timeline is always the same. They play some crap team in the first round and then beat them down, and then get the second round, play a championship contender team, and then win the first game, lose the second game, lose the third game. Wait, I'm sorry. They tie up the series. The next two, they completely just fold. They shrivel up like a ball. It's ridiculous. Get it together. The Sixers, I'm running out of patience with this team. I'm always going to root for them, but I'm just running out of patience. Like, the window is starting to close with Joel. It's starting to close. It's starting to close. Starting to close. As far as MVP goes, I really think that Jokic should probably win it, but Luka has been on a tear. I mean, 30. He's averaging like 35 triple double. That's ridiculous. But I think Jokic should probably win it because the Nuggets are easily one of the best teams in the NBA. They have a very high chance of going back to the finals this year unless something goes completely wrong for them, which I don't think will happen. They're better than the Timberwolves. They're better than the Thunder. They're better than the Clippers. They're better than New Orleans. They're better than the Suns. They're better than Sacramento. And what happened to Sacramento? I have not heard from them at all this season. Last year when they broke that playoff drought, I was like, well, Sacramento might be back, but I've not heard a thing from the Kings this year. They're better than the Mavericks. They own the Lakers. I can't remember the last time the Lakers beat them. And they're better than the Warriors. So they're better than nine teams in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think that. I think that Jokic is the MVP simply because he's the most dominant player in the NBA, and I think the Nuggets have a very high chance of going back to the finals. And they're probably a deeper team than they were last year. They've utilized their bench a lot more, giving some younger guys the chance of getting into the game. They have a better bench than they did last year. And obviously they have Nikola Jokic. They have Jamal Murray, who is a very good two player. Um, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Those guys are the perfect. And I give so much credit to the Nuggets for building a great squad around Jokic, giving him a good point guard, giving him a two-way guard with KCP, giving him a wing shooter, giving him a versatile power forward in Aaron Gordon. Like that's the type of thing you do with your All NBA MVP caliber center. That's what you do. I don't know why the Sixers have never done it. Oh wait, I know why. Because they don't want to win. They care about selling ticket sales more than they about do winning. And that's just load of crap. Whoever says that's not true, it is true. They rather sell tickets to Lil Baby and Meek Mill and all those guys than they rather do winning. So I'm just completely done. I'm giving up on the season. Joel can come back. I don't think that's smart because that's just stupid. Because this team is cooked regardless if he was here or not. They're not going to do nothing. So it's ridiculous. And him trying to save his knee for the MVP voting thing, ugh, dude, just focus on the championship, man. That's the only thing left you need on your career, and you're considered a top six center of all time. How about that? How about you just focus on that? How about you just focus on winning a championship instead of focusing on the MVP? Because you already have it. You're already going to be you're going to be a Hall of Famer one day. So get the ring. Sheesh. Um, just get the ring. And I want to also talk about what happened yesterday with women's college basketball. Obviously, I think, in my opinion, I don't want to be like rude or anything. I just think the women's college basketball is like way more entertaining to watch than WNBA. I think, I don't know, it just is. I think that the WNBA is, no, women's college basketball is so much more entertaining to watch than the WNBA. I think the stars in the women's college basketball are worth more, like entertaining wise, and get more attention than they do with the WNBA. So that could be a reason why I think it's more entertaining. I mean, obviously Caitlin Clark and all those girls, but LSU played South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina completely owns LSU. Don Stanley owns that college and that program. There was a fight with Camila Cordorsa yesterday with Flajay Johnson. Flajay, she pushed. She kind of was jawing at the South Carolina players. She pushed somebody. South Carolina was jawing about her back. Camila Cordorsa, she pushed Flajay Johnson to the ground. She got ejected, so she might not play the first round. But who cares? They're playing a 16 seed. Um, I was about to say, yeah, all the benches cleared, and in basketball, if the bench you leave the bench for a fight, you get ejected. So that makes sense. So all the players got ejected. South Carolina won, and there was only like 5, 6 players celebrating the game. But it was just a complete collapse by what Don Staley said. She just said, "Look, this is not us. This is not who we are. This is not what we're about. This is not what women college basketball is about. It's just bad info representation. It's bad leadership and bad whatever." And Kim Mulkey in her press conference was like, "I wish she would have pushed Angel Race. You're not going to be 6'8" pushing somebody that little." I guess what she would have done if she pushed Angel Reese. Just extreme lame behavior. Kim Mulkey's always been like such a lame person. I think she's vastly overrated. I don't even think she would have won the national championship last year if South Carolina lost to Caitlin Clark. I don't. I think that if they played South Carolina last year, South Carolina probably would have beat them, and they're probably going to beat them again when they get to the Natty this year. Angel Reese talking about, oh, we're not scared of South Carolina. Look, LSU is completely owned by South Carolina. South Carolina owns LSU. That's not even close. So maybe y'all should pipe it down just a bit because you guys haven't beaten this team in a while. This team knows you. Yeah, you're in the heat of the moment, but let's just act with some class. Why can't we just do that? Why can't we just like like you guys are like lady like I don't want to say the wrong thing here. Just like I think you have to be able to represent the right way, and Kim Mulkey just didn't do that. She showed bad leadership, bad attitude, and there are going to be younger girls watching this. Like, oh, I guess women's basketball is all about fighting now. And Kim Mulkey's promoting it. That's not how you. That's not how you lead. That's not how you give um role modelship to the youth. That's not what you do. Don Staley is a perfect person for a role model, saying what she said. That's not us. That's not who we are. It was just ridiculous. Credit to Don Staley, all she's done. I hope that she wins it all again this year. I really do. Hopefully, she gets her get back from last year. And moving on to the decorated NFL, just want to talk about something about my Philadelphia Eagles and some of the moves that were made today. The big one, the Eagles signed former running back of the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, to a 3-year, $37 million deal. This is ecstatic. This is great. Um, you have an offense now of Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Sounds like a Madden Ultimate Team type of team. But hey, let Howie cook, let Howie do his thing. I knew Howie was going to take that. I knew he was going to take that collapse very seriously. I knew he had to go work in the offseason. And yeah, rightfully so, he did. Now, before I talk about the Eagles, I want to talk about what the Giants community and the fan base is so upset about. I really don't understand why they're so upset. Yes, I understand that you lost your one of your best talents you've had in the last 6, 7 years. I get that. I understand. But part of it was your fault. Well, majority of it was your fault. The ownership and the front office was to blame for this. Saquon has mentioned other times the past few years that, hey, I want to be a Giant for life. I want to become a New York Giant for life. I grew up rooting for this team. I grew up wanting to be a New York Giant. He even said it so many times. I'm like, why don't they give this guy a contract? Oh, wait, last year they placed a franchise tag on him. Then they signed him for a 1 year contract. So they offered him a contract to play 1 year, which to me, honestly, was like zero difference between the franchise tag and the deal that he got was 1 year. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever he did. Saquon was coming off a career year before he got that deal he did last year. The Giants completely screwed him over, and their mistake was paying Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. I don't know why, but they did it. Daniel Jones had them in a chokehold last year. I would not let anybody like Daniel Jones put me in a chokehold because if you want to demand $45 million, dude, the door is back there. We're not giving you $45 million after one season. And it proved that he was not even worth half of his contract that he got last year. Not even worth half of it. That's how trash he is. This guy sucks. Why? That was your honestly, that was your mistake why you didn't pay him. Why you didn't get Saquon Barkley back because one, you didn't offer us a contract. Two, you paid Daniel Jones a lot of that money, so you chose him over Saquon. And three, I don't have three because I think the Giants are a pathetic organization who will never win anything, and their fan base is completely delusional because all they do is yap nonstop about how good one player is and how good one player not is, and I've been waiting for the past few years because Giants fans have came out to me all of my life saying, how many rings you got? You guys only have one championship to our four. Well, bro, you were not even alive yet to see one of those championships, so don't even start with that. Number two, Saquon doesn't owe anything to the New York Giants, but the utmost respect. He played every year there, did everything he asked to do at the New York Giants, was completely successful. I don't know. But as far as the Eagles side, this is a great move because one, Saquon has never played for a team like this. He never played with a quarterback as good as Jalen Hurts is. Never played with those type of receivers. And first of all, he's never even played with a type of line like that. So the Eagles last year was number one in run blocking, while the Giants were almost dead last. So there's a difference. I think Saquon is going to go, if he can stay healthy, he's going to go crazy next year. Um, I think that that's going to happen. Let's see what Kellen Moore does with the offense, but they're going to try and go back to their old ways. Look, if you want to stack the box against Saquon Barkley, okay, fine. We have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith on the X and the number one, number two. You want to play back? Okay, fine. We'll run on you with Saquon Barkley and our quarterback. That's what was missing last year. It kind of sucks that Kelsey's gone, but I think that what we have now with Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Pave the Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and whoever they play at right guard, it's going to be really good. I think that's going to be really, really good. And just like Saquon Barkley is going to untap this offense even more. I do hope that Howie rebuilds the defense because I think the defense is critical last year. A lot of people are saying that the Eagles are gonna draft a corner or a linebacker in the first round. I'm telling you right now, I think Howie's gonna go lineman. I just do. It's his bread and butter. It's been his bread and butter since day one. Drafting the lineman. He always does, and that's how we've been successful. That's why we extended Landon Dickerson today. That's why we got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and It's just been his bread and butter. I don't. The last time he drafted somebody who wasn't been through the line of scrimmage was Devontae Smith, and he was still able to get Landon Dickerson in the second round. So I don't really think that you know are they going to draft a corner or like a linebacker at round one, which I think they should. But how he's going to look for that? He's going to draft an offensive lineman. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. He's going to draft an offensive lineman. Eagles fans will probably turn their heads like, why? I'm just calling it right now. I'm calling it right now. Speaking of the draft, there are some drafts I want to talk about. But other NFL news, Kirk Cousins went to the Falcons for 4 years. It was kind of hard. I was kind of like hard to think that Kirk would like leave Minnesota, but the Falcons need a quarterback, need a new offense, and obviously Kirk's kind of familiar with that McVay type of offense when he was with Kevin O'Connell, and his weapons are going to be elite. Brian Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. You can even draft another receiver at number 2. Maybe Romo Dunze, Neighbors, who knows? But the Falcons, I think immediately, I think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to win the division next year. I really do. I think they're going to win the division. They easily have the best quarterback in the division. Yeah, but a bunch of people saying, "Well, Kirk's coming off a torn Achilles." Like, bro, Kirk was balling before he got hurt. He was balling. So we'll see. The Vikings are clearly going to draft a quarterback, and I feel kind of bad for my boy Justin Fields because where the hell is he going to go? Where is he going to go now? I mean, all the vacant spots are filled up. The Steelers don't need a quarterback. They just got Russell Wilson, which I'm going to talk about that later. The Falcons just got Kirk Cousins. The Raiders signed Gardner Minshew, who honestly kind of uphilled himself to to be a starter. I'm just like kind of like thinking. I think the Patriots are set in stone. They're drafting a quarterback. The Vikings are going to probably draft a quarterback. Obviously, the Bears are going to draft one, so he's gone. I don't know. I don't know where this man is going to end up. I don't. Maybe DC, like Commanders, like I don't know where this man is going next year. I don't. And it's probably looking like it's most end up going to be a backup type of job for him next year, which kind of sucks. But man, that 2021 and QB draft class should be studied because it was honestly the worst. I have. We're probably talking about this in a few years. How that was one of the worst quarterback draft classes in a long time. Obviously, Fields getting shipped out. Mac Jones completely failing. Trey Lance barely didn't even play, and some guy in the 7th round took his spot and went off. Zach Wilson was atrocious from day one to day now. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't been the generational prospect that we've been calling him to be since he's been in high school. Yeah, he has that playoff win, but I just don't think that he's been that generational of a player. And obviously they had that major collapse um, last year. So I mean, we'll see. But I think the 2021 draft class has been the worst ever. I cannot think of a worse draft class has been panned out for these guys. These guys were supposed to be picked to save franchises. Mac Jones was supposed to be the successor to Tom Brady. Trey Lance was supposed to save the 49ers. Zach Wilson was supposed to save the Jets. Justin Fields was supposed to save the Bears. These guys just never panned out. They never do. Um, it's kind of sad, but hey, all those guys are going to be traded, and they have been traded. Besides Lawrence, just yikes, just a major yikes. Where the I don't I think he's probably be a backup somewhere. I'm trying to think who could use him as a backup. Any team could probably use him. I'm sure some teams would use him as a backup. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, his market is so cold. It's ice. Nobody wants this cat. Nobody wants him. I'm like blanking right now. I'm literally blanking on teams that could use him. I'm blanking. Maybe New Orleans? I don't think Derek Carr is that good. I don't. He can definitely take Derek Carr's spot, but the problem is the Saints gave him a lot of money. A lot. I'm thinking about someone else. I'm blanking. Maybe I don't even know. The Jets? I mean, with he could sit behind Rodgers for a few seasons. That could be nice for him. Like kind of like that Jordan Love situation. That could be nice for the Jets. That could be. I don't know where else he would go besides like those teams I just that team I just listed. Like I'm trying to think like AFC like North. I don't know. AFC. I'm thinking like Tennessee. I guess they're set in stone with Will, which I probably wouldn't be over Justin, but it's rough, man. It's rough. Um, I would say I don't know. But yeah, that draft class was terrible. The Steelers got Russell Wilson for 1 year, $1.1 million. So he literally just got veteran minimum deal money. But the good thing is that the Broncos are still paying him $38 million, and the Broncos, I Broncos could get also Justin Fields, but I don't think that fit would just mesh well together with Peyton and Justin Fields. Um, the Broncos are still going to be paying Russell Wilson $38 million. What just they're just fools. They're just fools. So he's going to be probably getting up close to 40 million next year. Finessed, low risk, high reward type of deal. Probably going to be starting right away. Um, and yeah, it's just kind of low risk, high reward. Could earn himself betting on himself next year. Could take that Baker Mayfield option if they want to extend him. If he guys win a playoff game, though, he's got to win a playoff game. The Steelers have been honestly mediocre for the past 3, 4 years. They gotta get better. I just think they're always so mediocre. They'll win games and make the playoffs, but they won't do anything. So yeah, this kind of adds some stability with where the the Steelers are at with their quarterback. I guess for now, but we'll see. Um, and I want to also talk about something else. Another thing about I want to talk about something else. With another thing with my Eagles. This is our time. This is our get back. This season will be our get back. We have the tools now. We just need to go back. We need to rebuild on defense. I think this ceiling for this team again is. I think the window is closing for the Niners. I really do, because they're kind of like under the cap, or they're over the cap. They're in debt with the cap. Um, their window is closing. It is. It is. Their window is closing. They're over the cap. They're not going to be paying Brock on a cheap deal anymore. So they're going to have to pay him soon, eventually. And some of those guys are getting older. Some of those contracts are heavier. They got some work to do. I think that it's the work. Look, I think the window is closing. I think the Eagles' window is opening up. I really do. I do. I think this is the Eagles' conference in the next 4 or 5 years. If everything goes right, they have the young players, they have the young talent, they have the veterans. They just don't do it, man. I think next year will be our get back. We had a hard schedule last year. Damn it, if you remember, we were doing well in that gauntlet of a schedule we had last year, but we just completely collapsed against San Fran. Completely collapsed. We could do it. I think Jalen returns back to form. I think it's a bounce back year. I do. I really think that the Eagles, if they get back, if they can rebuild the defense, this team is going to be in the Super Bowl next year. It will be. They will be. They just gotta go ahead and do it. Because I believe that this team can win the championship. I do. They just gotta go and do it. They have the running back. They have the quarterback. They have the offensive line. They have the two receivers. Defensively now it looks tricky because I know how he's been working on it defensively. They gotta have a great draft. They have a great offseason. They gotta stay healthy. I think their ceiling next year could be this team could be in the Super Bowl again next year. I really, really do. I do not see another team that could potentially beat them. Dallas, no. They always collapse and fold. Plus, they lost a lot of talent this year, and they're going to have to pay a lot of talent this year. They have to pay their quarterback a lot of money. And for one, people say, well, why are they paying Dak? Dak has all the leverage right now. They're going to have to pay Micah Parsons a lot of money. Like Micah Parsons, with Brian Burns getting $150 million today, Micah Parsons should probably get up close to $200 million in terms of edge rusher money. They're going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb. They're going to have to pay all these other guys. They just let go of Tyron Smith. I think their window was closing too. Who else besides with those two teams, who else is challenging us? Detroit? Maybe. Their offense is really good. Their defense is not. Who else? Let's go. LA? Maybe. I don't think LA is better than us at all. I'm just like spitballing right here. Excuse me. The Packers. The Packers can definitely challenge us. That's the only team I'm right now currently afraid of. I think the Packers could scare us. It scares me. Their quarterback is borderline elite. They just had a Josh Jacobs. Their receivers are extremely young, but they could do it. They showed it last year. And their defense is not bad. It's not bad. They played well in the playoffs. They did enough to win that game. That's my only team of fears right now in the NFC conference. No one else? Nope. They just gotta go out there and do it. Let last year, let it die. Let what happened last year die. Move on. Get better. Get better. That's my message. Get better. Everyone needs to get better next year. Everyone in every aspect. Because this is a contending team. We wasted last year. This is a contending team. Contending team. That concludes another episode of Timeout with McCallie. Episode number 7 in the books. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Talking a little NBA, NFL. We'll be doing another one. Filling out my bracket next week. I'm talking about a little bit of my NBA. Do a lot of NFL today because free agency was out, but we'll be doing a lot more NBA talk and basketball talk because we're kind of in the peak of basketball. We're kind of in the peak of basketball right now. We are. So I just can't wait. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good night. This is Time Out with McCallie.